Hang on, guys. Just give me a minute.
You're good.
Yeah, no worries. I'm over here waiting for Magnum to ask a question anyway. Just letting it be quiet. All right, makes
Sorry,
sense.
guys.
Oh,
you're good.
no worries.
You're
We were
good.
just talking about you.
Yeah. Well, I assume so. Sorry. Why do 3-year-olds have nightmares? The first time his father has announced in his earshot that his inheritance is in pineapples.
Oh boy.
Pop is popping and locking. Magnum scrutinizing. Papa Max Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 15 of the Poppin' Mags Pinecast. Mags, we're up to 94 days now since we've been told we can take our NFTs off a Theta drop. Unbelievable.
I believe it. A few weeks, and I think I said this last week, but a few weeks turned into a few months. Not real quickly, real slowly.
Very slowly. But
and I don't see a way forward.
Well, I mean, I noticed last week and the week before even that the hat situation has really picked up a lot of steam here. So I'm hoping that the voices are going to start to be heard now.
Yeah, I think, if it doesn't pick up, everyone's going to be wearing a hat. Mitch
well,
may
we
be
might as well all
hat.
be.
Or maybe he'll hang it up behind him, though.
Yes, well, we know that that's the case. We definitely know that that's the case. I mean, so I don't know if you noticed this week, I was actually out most of the week and just kind of disconnected. Had a nice quiet little week, but it didn't seem, trying to plug back in here now, it didn't seem like it was a very quiet week overall here. I opened up my wallet and I thought somebody was in there like picking around because I had NFTs on the top of my wallet that I hadn't touched in a while, and I was kind of wondering why that was happening. Was that the case for you as well?
Yeah, I was wondering where the fuck you were all week. But yes, I did also notice some NFTs moving in my wallet, which is scary considering.
Oh yeah.
Well, one, we don't want those NFTs. We're not supposed to list those NFTs. The Symbies. Right. So there's that piece, and then two, there was this hack that I don't even know if this was resolved yet.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Thetas, the NFTs being rearranged in my wallet, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I got a couple of messages from some people like, a little bit nervous about what's going on. And, here's hoping that this has something to do with being able to take our NFTs off the Theta drop. Obviously, I have no idea if that's the case or not, but Mags, it's been 94 days, so here is hoping that it's somehow related. Who knows? So yeah, but you brought up the hacks, so that's another thing. I completely missed it. Wasn't checking my email. I don't even know if I got those emails. But yeah, guys, I mean, you guys need to make sure you got the two-factor authentication going on your accounts. I mean, we've been harping on it. I basically made a name for myself from this kind of thing back in like December and January. And, if you still haven't got two-factor authentication on your account, man, what are you doing? Like, you got to take this thing as serious as a bank account. You got funds in there, you got NFTs in there that if somebody gets access to your account, they're just gone. So, this is a very serious thing. Like, depending on how much money you got in there and what you've invested in there, like, you need to take certain precautions here.
Yeah, I know I've been talking about two-factor authentication since we started this. I mean, it's been a while since we brought it up. That's the easiest way to protect your account is that. I don't know. So I saw Theta Drop eventually tweeted something out. I know NEC was all over this thing from the get-go. He was in every Discord. He was on Twitter. He was just popping in about it to tell people, do not click any of these emails. So Theta Drop put something out saying, yeah, don't click any emails, even if they look from us or not. Just don't do it. I believe it was something like that. And honestly, I don't know. I'll go on Theta Drop about the domain renewal. I don't know what the situation. I still don't understand what the situation was. I heard a bunch of different stories of these lists and guessing people's names. I think maybe that's what Theta Drop was saying. Eventually, I don't know. The easiest way to protect yourself is two-factor authentication.
Yeah, I think they were kind of blaming it on MailChimp. And there was a falling out with MailChimp I saw from Kyle's tweet a while back. But I'm curious, did you get the email in question?
I did not, unless
Okay.
it went to my spam, but I did not.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I got it either. But I was just curious what the actual email address was that it came from if you responded to it. Because actually in my work, I get these spoof emails all the time that make it look like it's coming from someone within the company. And then if you reply to it, it goes to like some random Gmail account. So it doesn't, you can't tell who it's coming from until you reply. Not that I have no idea. I didn't look for this email. I don't know if I got it, but I don't know anything about this situation. I was just trying to have a nice week off, and all the stuff just to come back to a huge fire here.
Yeah, we get those emails at work, and that's super funny because we're on this whatever domain server, so it's like this is something from like the IT department, but it's coming. It says that it's coming from an external email, so it flags all external emails. So that's why it's laughable. But yeah, I don't know. I read something, and I don't do much reading unless it's to me, that something about guessing usernames based off of Twitter names or Discord names
they're
or
trying
something.
to like the brute force thing. Yeah, I don't know. But it's another thing where it's like they used to have these Twitter giveaways, and it was like, oh, put down your username on here to join. And it's like, okay, no, I'm not putting my username on there. What's the point of putting my username on there? Because from there, you could probably guess my email address in a lot of cases. And if you can figure out the password for one of them, a lot of people use the password for both of them. So it's like, you gotta step up the security here, people, and just, I feel bad for everyone that got caught up in this, but let's step it up. Let's get the two-factor authentication going. Let's not give any easy targets to these guys that are doing this. I mean, we just need to make sure that as a community that, we are as secure as possible with our accounts. And if anyone has any issues, like can't figure it out, feel free to message us, and we'll be happy to help.
Yeah, and also, which helps out your account, is put that hat on your profile pic.
Got to have a hat these days. We're about to hit the century mark here on days since we've been told.
Never in my wildest dreams would I equate a few weeks into over 100 days.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, we're talking. We're coming up on 4 months. Here pretty soon. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But one other thing that I kind of we started to speak about last week was these metal print sales and the Dragon Primes. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? That was quite a week for the Ivory symbiotes. I mean, I think I lost count. I believe it was over 10 sales of over $10,000 each on these metal prints for people to mint Dragon Primes. Unbelievable.
And then it went up to, so the minimum was 10,500.
10,500 for a week,
for a week. And then I don't think we want to talk about my issue.
Oh man, no, thank you for bringing that up.
Fuck.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so we got a minimum of 10,500. And what does my boy Mags do? He goes and buys one for 10,496. You are $4 short, my friend.
I think it was like 97.26. I think
it was something short. I know.
Yeah, I took some. I wasn't smart enough to figure out the to have the person set the price.
Yeah.
So
you put the offer out. Yeah.
So the offer was submitted by party X, and it was over the amount. And then almost immediately, when I received the offer, I saw that it was like 9 cents over the amount. So it went from like a couple bucks over the minimum to 9 cents over the minimum when I hit enter. When the thing finally processed, because the sale didn't like post, even though like it transacted right away.
Yeah, they
It didn't.
take a couple minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it posted, and then I was a few dollars short of being for that person to mint it. So I just I kind of freaked out, and
Yeah. Well, it's a great story, honestly, and thank you for bringing it up because I completely forgot. I had it written down on a piece of paper that's someplace, but not the one that's in front of me here. But that was amazing.
and the sad thing is too, because Sheriff's put in Discord and on Twitter that like, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. We make sure that the person gets the Dragon Prime, right? By doing it correctly. Yeah. And I'm there talking with you that night, fucking this thing up.
Yep.
Oh my God. So yeah, there was some frantic messages and screenshots shared to show.
Well, I mean,
show what was going on.
You got caught in a little downspin on T-Fuel. So not the end of the world on that, but that was one of many sales that really one of the only things going on Theta Drop until it looks like Friday, which was a drop that I missed because I still was unplugged. But I think you got involved in that one, right? The creator, what's it called?
Yeah, I think Creators Club.
Yeah,
it was cool. They were super neat. They came in these like Nintendo 64 cartridges. They look like.
Nice.
And so I was like, I'm gonna buy one, and I figured, it was gonna there was only 2,222, and I think they're just saving 200 for the creators or whatever. So I guess 2,000 of them were available, and it took a while for them to sell out, but they did sell out somewhat quickly. So once I saw that they were struggling, I was like, oh, some of these are kind of cool, and I just kept buying a couple. So I think I haven't heard any issues or complaints with them.
No, they're all over Twitter. I mean, they look pretty cool. Like I said, I was just unplugged and did not catch this one, but visually they look great. I don't know anything more about them really.
Hopefully maybe Theta Jump Rarity gets involved. We can see, but I mean, like Pines, 8,888 of them, and when there wasn't the rarity, we were guessing a lot, but like this pool's a lot smaller. So
yeah,
what is definitely. That, like 4x smaller?
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah,
and so you'll look at an attribute, and there's not many for sale of that attribute because there's only so many of these things. Yeah, they look cool. Yeah. I hope there's something else to go with them. I think they're helping support the creators on Theta TV, which is very cool.
Definitely.
But hopefully there's. I almost bought a custom the other day, and I could have bought it outright, and I was like, oh man, let me try to nickel and dime this guy. And I sent the offer. And then this is something I noticed I found kind of weird, but I guess maybe it's not. And I put in an offer that was more than that individual paid for it. And then I think NEC or something wound up buying the thing for the asking price. And but my ask was still there after the sale. So I don't know if you think that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ask follows the NFT to the new owner.
Yeah, but it's just weird because if that owner beat my offer because he paid the actual price for it.
Yeah.
That owner's not going to want my price.
No, absolutely.
So I took a hint and I canceled it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would still be nice to know if these offers were even seen or not by the other party. And it would be great if they would get actually canceled if someone rejects them. Where there's still some cleanup work I think that needs to be done with the offers. But
yeah, on aisle 10.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I don't know if that's been mentioned before.
Nope, we've mentioned it, and we mentioned it again, and we'll continue to mention it.
So yeah, I did take most of the week off, like I said, but I came home Friday. I just figured it was time to stir up a little Pine controversy.
Yeah, you did. We had enough this week without your help, but you had to freaking poke the bear.
I didn't understand at the time how much had actually already gone down. I probably could have waited a little bit, but strike while the iron's hot, right? So I made the post, and actually General Dole got in touch with me while I was on vacation.
Apparently he's your boy now.
Well, yeah, he always has been. I think that's on record. But yeah, he had the idea of starting a fantasy league for Pines, and that's kind of a very difficult thing to do with a bunch of Pines. Obviously, you just had a draft this weekend, and it's hard enough to get 12 people together to attend a draft. So I pondered on it a bit, and we came up with something unique where it's no draft, no matchups. It's a fantasy kind of setup for the season where each week you pick whatever guys you want to start, and the only rule is you can only pick the same guy twice within the course of the year. And we set up a league on Run Your Pool, and we're going to offer whoever wins. It's a free entry. Whoever wins gets a free Secret Pineapple Society ThetaCon NFT from Open Theta, one that is transferable out of my wallet. So we're going to do that. And then we also, for those that wanted to spice it up a little bit, we offered a little side pot. If you want to throw in 100 T-Fuel, I created a new wallet, dump 100 T-Fuel in there, and whoever out of those people wins or comes in highest wins the pot. And so far right now, we got 16 people that have entered in total, and 8 of them have entered the 100 T-Fuel portion. So, I mean, that's
roughly half.
That is roughly half, yes, of all competitors. So yeah, but the controversy stirred up when I referred to real football being American football and not what they call soccer in America.
And that was dumb.
Stirring that pot.
I mean, I could have seen that coming. I don't.
Yeah, no, obviously, I knew that was going to cause a reaction, right? But at the same time, that was kind of the point too, because if I had just gone along and not made that jab, then now you got all the European Pines. They're just going to just leave it alone, right? They're going to have no interest. It's just American football. You get a couple of the American Pines involved. But now you start throwing jabs out there. You offer a free pot with an NFT for the winner. Why not? Why wouldn't these Euro Pines join and try to smack us American Pines around in our own game? If one of these guys wants to start a real football, also known as soccer league, and offer some kind of free NFT to a winner, guess what? Sheriff Popper is going to join.
Maybe a World Cup pool.
Yeah, maybe a World Cup pool. I mean, that's not that's not really like some kind of fantasy league with the Premier Cup or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I would. Obviously, I'd get involved with that. And, I think that just the idea was to get a little, smack talk going on and camaraderie going on Twitter.
And how embarrassing would it be for an international person who it's football to them. It's not soccer. Yeah. And for them to win American Football Fantasy League.
Yeah, no, that would be embarrassing. But here's the other thing, though, Mags. Have you ever done a fantasy league like this one?
Ever done one like this one?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever participated? Me either.
No, because you have to pick a player. You can't pick a player more than twice all season. So you can pick whoever the hell you want.
Right, but normally with a fantasy football league, you draft your own team, and you use that team, or you make trades throughout the course of the year. And you use the same team week over week. You manage a team. This is completely different. It's almost like a DraftKings kind of daily fantasy entry, except there's no limit on who you can put in there because there's no salary cap, but just the caveat that you can only use each player twice over the course of the year. So the format is completely new. I mean, which I think really levels the playing field here between American Pines and International Pines. Because I don't think anybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so hopefully we get some more people. The season's about to start soon.
Yeah, no, it would be great. I think September 8th is the first game, so you guys still got time to sign up. But it would be great to get a bunch of you Pines involved. Just get involved. It's probably about 5 minutes a week that you need to commit to just log in and create a lineup and just be a part of the fun on Twitter.
Looks like I look forward to the smack talk. And also winning.
We'll see about that. Yeah, I think you got your win already for the year. So you're all done. Okay.
By the time this finishes, we're going to be in another fiscal year. So.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh. I don't know about that. I don't think that counts.
We'll see.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but that's pretty much all I had. I don't know. You want to fill me in on anything else that I missed over the course of the last week while I was trying to have a nice relaxing vacation?
Just some angst. I saw some with some pine people, but it looks like the robot is back and ready to get in there. So yeah,
Excellent.
I really don't got much to say about that. We'll just
I saw something about Ketchineni becoming an official liaison. Was that? I don't know anything about that other than that's kind of what I heard. Is that something that happened?
yeah. Well, I saw something like that in a Discord group. I saw yes. I saw. We'll just say yes.
Okay,
I don't
we'll
know.
just say yes. I really
just
don't
say
know
yes.
either. There was
I
just
don't know if it's an
too many
official.
messages to catch up with. I saw congratulations. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Well, get back into it this week. Come in with understanding what the hell was going on this past week. Don't leave your boy hanging, putting out fires on Twitter and Discord, because that wasn't fun. Wasn't fun at all.
Listen, I took 5 days off. Okay, I mean, come on. If the world can't last without me for 5 days, you guys are in trouble.
True.
So it is actually an exciting week this coming week, because now we got a little taste of what the Sentinel Primes from the symbiotes are going to be, and that redemption period ends on Wednesday, and I'm thinking that we can probably get that drop on Friday. So that should be pretty spicy. I know I saw a tweet from Ivory on the Twitter about that, and man, it looks like just following up just gets I mean, the level of class just stays there, right? We know what's in the box, right?
Yeah.
Quality's in the box.
Ivory is he's like the ultimate creator that you'd want running a project, because he's in there doing the work and he's the biggest cheerleader. You thought the Dragon Prime thing was huge. He's not done. He said it. He's not going anywhere. We're just going to get blown away, I think, just constantly by him, and I look forward to
Agreed. That. Yeah, every 15 days, it's just going to be a treat here until ThetaCon. So definitely looking forward to that. If you don't know what we're talking about, trust me, by Friday or Wednesday, whenever we see them, you will know about them, because they will be all over Twitter, and there is going to be quite a few of them, I believe. I'd have to double check the numbers here, but many more of them than there were Dragon Primes. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Can't wait to see him.
All right, man. Well, if you got nothing else, then I guess we can kick it off to the next segment. And man, we got a good one for you today, boys and girls.
Oh yeah.
We got the one, the only Mitch Lou.
Wait, Sheriff. We got to cancel on Mitch.
Oh man.
We got. I don't know when we're going to be able to reschedule with him, but we're going with
Max. We had this lined up. I took 5 days off.
We did, and I'm sure you were well researched. But we're gonna go with the Lost URP episode finally.
Oh, what? We got clearance on that officially? We're gonna let that one rip?
We got clearance. We're ready to go with the Lost URP episode. So you want to reset that?
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's take it back about 3 or 4 weeks into the archives, and we're gonna revisit the Lost episode with the one, the only URP, not ERP.
After these messages.
This week's episode is brought to you by Rewarded.tv. What other place can you go to earn crypto as you watch and stream TV?
Wait, you can earn crypto?
You can earn crypto. It's called the RPlay token, my man.
RPlay. Didn't we have guests on previously that talked about this?
We did. Chris and Dan, our boys from Imagine Replay.
Oh, cool. So they're finally out.
They're finally out. The official token drop happened, and you make an account on Rewarded.tv, link it to your email address, start watching and earning. It's as easy as that.
Oh, that sounds great. Can I get off this call with you now and start earning?
You can do that right now at Rewarded.tv.
This week's episode is brought to you by ThetaCon 2022. What's better than spending a winter weekend in Florida? How about spending a winter weekend in Florida with a bunch of awesome people from the Theta community? December 2nd to the 4th at La Meridian in Fort Lauderdale. Tickets on sale now. The link for tickets and a lot more information can be found at thetacon.org. And honestly, $999 for the all-inclusive ticket is quite a deal. Comes with 2-night stay, a conference ticket, and $250 for on-premise food and drinks. I hope to see you there, and as Mags always says, that's from the both of us.
Papa Max, yeah. Papa Max. Papa Max Podcast. Papa Max Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a Pine All-Star. Some refer to him as URP. Don't know what that means. Maybe we'll find out. I refer to him as ERP. Welcome to the Pinecast. How you doing today?
Yeah, so it's URP, so not a URP. Or we were chatting just beforehand about NEC, or we could just call him NEC if you want.
We could.
Yeah.
I prefer Chief for him.
My preferred Pine nouns.
URP.
URP. Because, it's a anagram. So, URP, not ERP.
Okay, you heard it here first. I was wrong. Apology for that. Thank you, URP.
And thanks for apologizing straight away and putting that one to bed. That was a professional way of dealing with it.
That's all. That's what we do.
Apology
We're
accepted.
professionals. Thank you.
We hold
Moving
ourselves
on.
accountable here. But yeah, I need to apologize for that too, because I've always said ERP. And I was actually going to ask you this because when we had Sushi Cat on, she was treating you like you were some like super famous person that she met on Reddit and looked up to a lot. And she referred to you as URP. So I guess Sushi was right.
Yeah, well, Sushi knows part of the origin story, and we'll do the prequel one day, maybe today, and go into how URP was formed. But yeah, it was via Reddit. I've amassed, I think, 48 followers on Reddit in the past, so a bit of a celebrity on there. Try and keep it on the down low and don't cross-pollinate with Twitter.
Very cool. You've been in Theta, I'm assuming, for a very long time. You seem like one of the OGs for sure. How did you, like, what does your story look like getting into Theta?
I'm not sure whether the kind of OG cutoff point is. I have an old guard TNS address for sale. If I don't qualify, I'm happy to sell it. But that's available. It's in the marketplace now for 5,000 T-Fuel, which I think is a bargain. But when did I get into Theta? I don't think it's true OG status. September 2019, I think.
Okay.
I'm more comfortable with the price than the date. I think it was about 25 cents or so for Theta when I got into it. Bought 100,000 Theta, and about a week later it went up to 40 cents or so, or 2 weeks later, and I thought I was a genius. I watched a YouTube video criticizing Theta about T-Fuel not being able to move off Theta drop, and I was like, I didn't really know what this Theta thing was that I bought. I was just throwing money at a few different projects that ticked a couple of boxes and just speculating. And it was a small bag that I was holding. And so I sold it all and then bought back like 5x higher, which was a bit of a shame. So went in a lot harder, a lot later. So yeah, we're probably at or around the price now, which was kind of the cost average entry. So yeah, not as OG as I would have liked to have been.
Well, she seemed to think that you were like, you must have been doing some stuff on Reddit that was really kind of opening eyes, because that's how she had found you. And yeah, she just was, she couldn't stop about the star status, and then going up against the star and Pine Madness in round one.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how the draw worked out. I mean, at random, and to throw us up against each other, I thought was, wow.
Yes, that was very random.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, right? I dealt with it as one would, coming against Sushi, and I think coming against Sushi from a low base from her perspective, thank God, because she's just got a tremendous amount of talent to throw at these things and ability, and I've got some words that I can put on paper, and I can't do too much with them. Yeah, she didn't have a lot of followers at the time, and that maybe got Glitchy Boy a round or two further into the competition.
URP, we went into Pine Madness. That's my first introduction into you and seeing how you operate and how you run things. So there was a big match between you and
Humberto.
Danny's,
right?
Yeah, Danny's son, right?
Yeah.
It actually probably had the most votes of any match during the whole tournament, just even the championship by far. it was really close. It was like 100 to 100, and Danny-san was inching up, and there was just, I don't know, like 8 or 9 hours left. Next thing I know, I wake up, and just like Popper and his pineapple pizza, all of a sudden he's trailing by a lot. Was there any shenanigans going on during that, or was that just the people they wanted Glitchy to make the championship?
Yeah, well, I think the people voted with their votes, right? Was there any shenanigans? There were plenty of non-Pine voters out there.
For sure. Sure, okay.
Yeah, things got desperate, and I used the time zone to my advantage, and I made a decision that was a complete waste of effort and energy, given the fact that Magnum picked up the belt and the glory. But downstairs from my office, there's a recruitment company, and I know the owner pretty well. So I was chatting to him, and we chat about things over coffee from time to time, including crypto. And I was like, "Look, I need a favor," and he's got 40 staff or so. And he just pinged the link to his team. Was just like, "Okay, like option 2 or whatever it was on this thing." And so got this whole random team, which is mostly of females downstairs, going, "What the fuck is this about?" And then casting their vote, and it all came through at 9 a.m. my time. So
right around there.
Back up. You had to pull hard on that.
Well, so my hesitation after that epic comeback was the fact that I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have, not only did you flip on me because we were on the same team at that point, then Glitchy flipped on me. Now I'm going against the guy that he pulled this backroom deal. I figured it was going to happen to me too. Somehow it didn't. I don't know how. I guess
that doesn't seem like a backroom deal though. That seems legit.
I think the final results were probably legit. I think what we're just trying to get to is just my humbleness again and graciousness for winning it despite crazy odds.
Well, just like the pineapple pizza poll, the poll was legit.
And yes, it was.
I mean, admittedly, URP, PNN, and Theta Thresh happened to vote the same way as Glitch. That's probably not within the Pine Madness rules, but I didn't have time to read through the small print in the heat of battle.
I didn't know there was any rules actually in the Pine Madness.
Don't feel bad. Sheriff Popper couldn't even vote once because you can't vote on your own poll. So that didn't work.
There we go. So can we expect the high gloss version of the rules coming out for Pine Madness 2023? Obviously, the brackets and the
too soon. Too soon.
Too soon to get back to work, Sheriff?
That was, I might as well. I would have to start working on it now. That was, I'm still a little PTSD from that first week. Digging through Twitter to find who was on Team Popper, who's on Team Mags, and flashbacks.
But I'm okay if you want to work on it now. I mean, we know already that Mags can take the lead on the podcast.
Yeah. Why don't you handle this, Mags? I got to start working on Pine Madness 23.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to make several entries if that's okay.
Yeah,
I've got some new characters lined up.
Yeah, listen, Wolvie, he put in like 8 or 9. I had to cut a few out to make it a nice even 128. Simple Pine put a bunch in too. Seems like a lot of Team Magnum was just stuffed in the ballot box with entries over there.
I got no comment. They just they wanted me.
Those guys, I'll give it to them. Like, they took the spirit of this thing and they did it the right way. They made a story for each of the characters. They put it in there. I got some guys on Team Popper and it's like, oh, can I add this guy? It's like, dude, like, did you read any of the instructions? Like, make a little story. Or just like a picture of a pineapple. That wasn't really the point here, but yeah, you're in.
But the big star URP from this was the twins, the appearance of the twins, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, and the emergence of PNN. Anything you'd like to tell us about either of them?
Well, as you know, Magnum, there was a Team Magnum Discord enabled and a level 10 secret room that Theta Zilla Club happened to come about, and we got brainstorming some Pine madness, as you would call it, and emerged this great idea of controlling the narrative and controlling media, controlling the news outlet, and seeing where you get. And I don't know where we got the inspiration from. Any sort of real world examples of the media being manipulated. But anyway, it came to us as an idea, and we thought, well, this will be hilarious for 10 people, and we ran with it. Yeah, PNN was born. And Theta Zilla Club told me about Fiverr. So I was like, well, this kind of functions like Theta Drop. You click on something and you pay like any other online store. And so I was just paying for people to make random videos, and a few people got involved and helped out with that as well. And the rest, as they say, is history, written by Team Magnum.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I would say so. My biggest mistake was going back to the beginning with that meme that Magnum was putting together, the Civil War Avengers. I just did not realize what an impact that was going to have on my life. You know, he had Theta Zilla Club on his side. He had Glitch. He had Wolvie. I had Sushi. And then I had Will Lair, who's a great guy, but no air support from him. And Jupiter, who's a great girl, but very little support from her compared to what you guys are doing, putting together a Discord and just going right over the speed limit on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we inspired Symbies as to how to go all in on communication. So that was our modus operandi. We just went big.
Yeah, yes. That was definitely a lot of fun, man, but that was tough too. You know, I'm putting in all the work in the back end, and then I pop on, and it's just like, wow, I'm under attack here. This is ridiculous. You guys are putting in as much work as I am, but the work you guys were doing seemed a lot more fun than what I was doing.
Too, Sheriff. I mean, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on our side. Me and URP both had, videos coming out from the twins, and we had to just have them line up the right way to come out. So,
Oh, you poor saps.
yeah, it was tough. It was tough for sure.
Well,
the twins have become fans. Certainly fans of us paying them through college or whatever we're doing, but they've been enjoying the back and forth and like, oh yeah, another Pine video, he writing it out, and I'm reading it out, and yeah, it was cool. And a few more characters came through it, and Ketchinenny's helping out, doing a little bit now. I sort of felt, especially after James gifted the altered pine, that I better keep doing some. It probably wouldn't be right to sell the pine straight away or can PNN straight away. So we'll keep that up and see how it goes. A little bit, maybe 2-3 videos a month, and James gets involved from time to time with a read through on the scripts and tweaking things and just adding a little bit of commentary along the way. So helps kind of guide the creative writing process.
Very cool. Are we going to see any more of the twins here anytime soon?
Depending on how fast Magnum is planning to edit the video, yeah, they should be out before this Pinecast airs.
Oh, cool.
So I'm thinking the 1st of August. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking now and trying to get the time zone right, but I think it should be certainly in the US on the 1st, which is tomorrow, but not tomorrow if you're listening.
Right. Yeah, I'm not that fast.
Yeah.
Well, I could do another one. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do one on the back of this and try and sync it with the release date. Spoiler alert.
So we're gonna edit this part out, but is there any super secret juice we can get from the man over here?
No.
So what are you? I know that we saw some pines up for sale recently, but I've been seeing some pines being purchased again recently. So where are you sitting as far as what you're looking at as in your wallet here, T Fuel versus pines?
Yeah, I would describe it as sitting pretty. And I listened to the podcast with NEC and the one with Baller, and I appreciate the perspective of more doom and gloom in global markets and in cryptos in general, and NFTs might be a safe place of storage for capital. From my perspective and my background's also, I think similar maybe to NEC, but in traditional finance and now more so in private markets, including energy. But my thoughts are that I kind of had a lot of NFTs in a safe space during a downturn, which worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
I thought it would be, foolish to not take advantage of that downturn, and seeing that getting 2, 3, 4 even times the T Fuel I bought NFTs with back out of the system, putting it back into staking, trying to get the timing right, which is an impossible art. But yeah, just taking a bet that I've 2-3x capital in T Fuel terms, and take advantage that if markets start to pick up again in crypto, that T Fuel might lead NFTs on the way back up, and there might be the ability to buy similar NFTs to what I bought months ago for similar amounts of T Fuel, i.e. if we're back at 20 cents for a T fuel, I might be able to pick up something for $10,000, and that sounds like a crazy amount of T fuel to be putting in today's market. But yeah, if we ride back up and go up 3-4 times from now, and it's significantly less. So yeah, just trying to bet against it and then take advantage, of course, of realizing some capital losses. So putting quite a lot of dollar amounts into buying the NFTs. So the ability to just ride off against capital gains, all the dollar buys against the sell transaction. So managed to probably realize about $38,000 I think if I convert it back from local currency of losses, which sounds horrific, but it's really beneficial for me from a tax point of view locally. And I've got more T fuel than I spend initially. So yeah, I'm just trying to play that game. And I kind of miss a lot of the pines that I had, especially as everyone likes to show them off on the Discord. So I've got Monoto just giving some wall art of how great his pines are. And like I recognize a lot of those. So I'm optimistic that I'll be able to buy back better and build back better, whatever we want to call it. And Glitchy on Theta Drop has got a scumbag hat on to represent that. I know Papa came across it.
Thank you.
But yeah, trying to buy.
I don't know which one it was, but I was mentioning that it seemed like you sold a lot of your NFTs, your pineapples to, like you're saying, like get a loss but net T fuel and stake it, whatever. Just the interesting thing, and I think other people have been doing the same thing, if you would agree, but it seems like a lot of people that picked up a lot of these nicer or more expensive ones that, you've kind of sold and some other people have sold, that they're just not making it back on the market. Just wondering if you think, when we go back up to 20-cent T fuel, you think you're going to be able to get any of those nicer ones or something to that caliber back?
Yes.
Okay. Simple.
But I'll expand on that. I think psychology works in weird and wonderful ways. And when someone believes that they can get $10,000, $15,000 for something, it's quite easy to forget about what the acquisition cost would be or what the conversion is at the time. I mean, to them, they picked up a pineapple for $2,000-$3,000 and have the opportunity to sell it for 10, 12. Then I think a lot of people would jump at that. I'm not saying that some of the stronger kind of hands, if you can call them that, or some of the bigger ballers out there would do the same thing, but I feel that there'll be a lot of pineapples back with the guys who've got 1 or 5 in their account, and they might have a custom and a couple of others, or they might have something that's never really been on the market, and they're simply waiting for the market to pick back up again and sell it for the 10,000 that they wish they did back in February or whenever it might have been. So I feel like there'll be pines available. If not, I'm just going to have to get a Magnum style collection of floors on the go.
So you have the famous Glitch Lupine, right? And I know there's one other at least misfit out there, the misfit 911 guy, and he was able to collect the misfit and the original pine that actually fits the attributes. If the actual pine of Glitch Lu comes out, is that something that you're going to be looking to try to get?
Have you seen the actual pine of Glitch Lu?
I have not. Is it out there?
So it's not out there. Whether it appears, I have no idea. But I was meaning aesthetically. You've seen Glitch Lu and how he looks?
Oh yeah.
Not how he's supposed to look, but how he ended up post mint. And he's not glamorous. I wouldn't be.
He's got a nice blindfold.
He's got a rare blindfold, but I wouldn't be busting the bank to buy the correct version. I prefer the glitched version, which I bought. I was looking at it today. I imagined it would come up, so I think I bought it for $3,200, which sounds like a lot. And certainly would be in today's market without the context of it being glitched. But it was 12,000 T fuel, which just shows how well pineapples have stood up the test of time so far, despite all the ongoing bashing that they get. But Glitchy's done pretty well, and I think I bought it fairly opportune and maybe slightly overpriced at the time. Nobody was talking about it being in the marketplace. No one was talking about it being glitched. And I was searching for some of the blindfolds that I quite liked, and I quite liked the white Theta blindfold. I didn't have one at the time. It was fairly early on, probably December time or late November. wanted a white blindfold, searched for it in the marketplace, and then this glitched one came up and I thought that's weird. Clicked on it, looked at the attributes and realized that they were pretty much all mismatched apart from the background. I thought, wow, it's going to be hopefully a steal at $3,000 at the time, or 12,000 T-Fuel.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. I mean, when you start looking at the T-Fuel prices of these pineapples, it's hard to have any complaints against them. I start looking at some of them that I bought back during the drop, and even, December, January. It's like, man, the US dollar price went down, but these things are still holding T-Fuel value. And, I'm playing it a little bit similar to you, not on the grand scale that you are, but, I've diversified a little bit into actually being able to hold some T-Fuel. I had this issue for the longest time where if I had T-Fuel, it was for like 10 minutes because it was just getting spent. But I think I've turned the corner on that. And with T-Fuel where it is, it makes it a lot easier to just kind of store it away in hopes that, it does run and lead some of these NFTs. But yeah, I think that having a position in both is wise. Now, I'm just curious, if there was one of the pines that you did get rid of that you could get back, which one would you be looking to try to get back?
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer. I sold it too early. Pintori is still dear to me. I still look at it with envy, and I covet my neighbor's pine when I see it. I bought it, I think 34,000 T-Fuel and sold it for 100,000, so 90,000 less the fee, which is a great deal in business.
Sure.
And so I wasn't unhappy with that at the time, but at the time I thought T-Fuel was probably going to bottom around 12 cents, and we went down obviously considerably further, sort of 4 cents. So I think it probably could have gone for 150, 200. Would I have still sold it? Yeah, I probably would have done, because just a greedy capitalist most of the time. So I just look at the numbers, and I don't know about you guys, but I look at T-Fuel and I kind of imagine it being $1 at some point, hopefully in the next year or two, maybe in the next 5 or 10. I have no idea. But when I see 100,000 or 200,000, I think $100,000 or $200,000 in potential future value. So I'm kind of like, I'm crazy not to take offers on some of these pines, and even some of the good ones that I got rid of and on the way down. And most of what I sold was between 4.5 cents and 5 cents. But the sheer amount of T-Fuel, I'm like, geez, if T-Fuel was to go back to 1, then these things are going for levels that I hoped pines in my wildest dreams might get to.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, well, I'll just hold on to the T-Fuel, get some 8-9% APR on the journey, and I've got quite a lot of T-Fuel anyway, so sort of add to that pile and now start using rewards to buy NFTs.
Yeah, I look at it a little bit different than you. I value it at 33 cents, which is where it was at the pineapple drop. So, I mean, $1 would be great too, but I just look at it, I'm like, man, if the Theta or T-Fuel can get back to 33 cents, like this is worth a ton, So, but if it gets back to $1, if it gets up to $1, that's even better. But, 33 cents is where it was at the pine drop. So I kind of like, that sticks in my head,
Yeah, I've got to think that if T-Fuel got to 68 cents, on the big way up, we should have taken profit completely out of Theta at the time. There's some people vocal about that, which is fine. I should have heeded their warning. People who are still vocal about it now is a bit pathetic, in my opinion, but be as it may. Didn't sell out, stuck with it. For me, if Theta does what it's supposed to be doing and what the patents are all designed to be building, and Theta comes out the other side with some high-level clients in the mid to blue chip tier, then I can't see how we don't surpass all-time high. And if 68 T-Fuel is all-time high of T-Fuel, then I find it stands to reason that it should be multiples of that. So looking forward to the day then, and hopefully a few I told you so moments, but I won't lose too much sleep if it doesn't get there.
So one more question before I let Max take over. I've had conversations, I believe it was with Theta Club, and he believes that at some point the determination is that T-Fuel is going to be deflationary. Like that's the goal, right? For T-Fuel. Do you see that as a possibility?
Yeah, it's all predicated on use cases. So as long as you have enough video encoding, caching jobs, just using the network transactions as well. If Mitch is right and we get to 500,000, 1 million transactions per day, doing a variety of different tasks and different jobs, and especially across a meta chain by the end of the year, then T-Fuel should therefore become deflationary. It's built into the model that was put out in the white papers. And yeah, I certainly subscribe to that. And the guys at TRS have dissected it in each which way. I feel pretty comfortable that that outcome is a possibility, but it's predicated on Theta doing what it's supposed to do and the vision of solving the CDN problem and creating this decentralized network that is ultimately used, not just some pretty NFTs.
Interesting. That would, that would be awesome. Just hard to see. Like it does seem like it's kind of a far cry away when you have 8% inflation on the T fuel that's being staked. So it's just, I don't know. It'd be very awesome if that was the case, but right now it's kind of wait and see for me and just, hope.
Yeah, I agree. But then market dynamics will adjust it as well. So if it were to have enough throughput and the transactions to become deflationary at a point, then there are obviously other levers and mechanisms to cause it to become inflationary again as well. So yeah, you try and create some sort of equilibrium with T fuel, where much easier to work out when you're talking about Theta and you're using a static number.
Right.
So URP, you just mentioned a word that stuck out to me. You mentioned beautiful NFTs or pretty NFTs, and we mentioned pineapples already, of course. Have you redeemed your custom Pixzilla yet?
I have not. I don't feel good about redeeming any custom Pixzilla until I'm at meta status, which will happen, I believe, within the month of August. It's a big monumental task that only the more serious, the more established, the more determined Theta NFT purveyors, as he would call it, will ever be able to achieve, especially with the rate that those things were flying out of the door a month ago. So in the Pixzillas. Yeah, I will. I need to jump on their live stream, their chat at some point as well. And with
But
that will be cool.
Sheriff, am I missing something? You did communicate to him after the Pine Games, correct?
I did, yes. And URP was supposed to connect with TZC, and you can lead the horse to water.
Yeah,
but...
just for refresher, URP, TZC also wanted to help out to give a custom Pixzilla for somebody who was like an MVP of the Pine Game. So me and Popper were talking about it, and we came up with you. So, unanimous. It wasn't hard, despite Glitchy betraying me. It still wasn't hard. Because it wouldn't have been a success without you. So that's who it was. And so I thought I would have seen it by now, but maybe we got our wires crossed somewhere.
Well, did URP win or did Glitch win? Because it depends which inbox it landed in.
Yeah, Glitch. So
yeah, well, that'll be
it probably got glitched.
Yeah, he's not reliable. But I did chat to TZC, and I was I'm unwilling to accept it until I've aped into Theta Club, and I just didn't get around it. Yeah, correct. So, and you'll have seen I was probably completely under the radar, and then all of a sudden just appeared and went on a buying spree to the point that my right hand was just tired of clicking transactions. And then TZC said you can just batch the transaction after I'd finished. I'd done like
what?
300.
Stop! No, you're serious. You can batch.
Yeah, apparently on MetaMask you can do some sort of batched order, and he was going to talk me through it. But I'd gotten 400 Pixzillas by this point using a Trezor, so having to click on the MetaMask, use Trezor, rinse and repeat. I think 3 mornings of my life were spent doing that.
I will say the pickups you had in that first 400 were way better than anything I got in my first 500. So you had some very nice ones in those batches that you just ran off.
I had a great run, I think, again, while you boys were sleeping. You slept on it, principally. That's the lesson here, that you can sleep on all things Theta. But yeah, I went through the first 150 pretty quickly and I didn't get a custom, I didn't get a ghost, didn't get certainly no soldiers or aliens, didn't get any apes, and it was just I just got floors, 150 floors basically, and not that you can have a full
Pixzillas.
Yeah, and then but the run from 3 to 400 was legendary. Yeah, I'll recount the story one day. I don't think we have time. I was just basking in the glory of the surprise consecutive mints as well, and some of them it was beautiful.
Every time you did that, I got a message from Magnum, just infuriated that somebody went on a good run.
That happens all the time. If it's a good run or a bad run, if it's a good run, I'm furious, and if it's a bad run, I'm like, can you believe this luck? I go, I better get in there, and maybe they ate all the floors for me, so maybe I can get that alien or something. But
Yeah, I
happen.
played that game a few times. It's like, man, it's been like 75 since anything good is minted. Rip off 30. All right, now it's been 105 since anything. But yeah, the amount of messages that I got from Magnum being like, dude, 3 out of 4, 2 zombies in a custom, like this is ridiculous. It's rigged. And thumbs down on everything. And yeah. He's a class act.
The weird part of that run was that I think there was 3 zombies within 10 minutes. And someone else jumped on for 1 mint and got one of the zombies. They just jumped in the middle of the run, bought one, and I carried on with my day minting away. And then looked back at the logs of what had appeared in the mint and what was in my wallet. There's one of these zombies missing. And then I went on the hunt for the lost zombie. And yeah, someone was 1 mint and done.
That's happened to me numerous times where I see what comes out because I'm just clicking, and I keep minting, and then next thing you know, I was like, oh, this sick one got minted. This other one, was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And I go to my wallet, all floors. It's like whoever came in, they just got all the high end Zillas, and I got stuck on the floor again. So it's funny when that happens. But unfortunately, that can't happen again because they're all done.
So speaking of going on the hunt, URP, there was a bit of a hunt that you got yourself in the middle of a few months back. I'm just curious, has your position or take on Tbill changed since a few months ago?
No.
So what this boils down to for me is unless Tbill has a use case other than swapping out for T fuel, then there's other problems on top of it with the multipliers, but I think the whole thing is an extreme problem if Tbill's only value is swapping out for T fuel. Do you think there's something more to this? I know that G World is now a big sponsor at ThetaCon, so I'm assuming that they must be working on something if they're gonna be there, right? Would you think?
Well, I assume so, and I hope that they're working on something. I just haven't seen any evidence of whatever it is that they're working on, apart from the Tbill sort of infrastructure and now governance token that goes with it. I got into Tbill, and I didn't initially. DeGard was part of the TRS, the Theta Research Squad Discord group. He did sort of loosely explain this concept, and I replied with a meme of a camel opposite the pyramids, just chewing away. I think speaking to the Niamo trader, and we were like, I'm just super skeptical of anything that promises this kind of APR. So I just ignored it. And then I think January rolled by, and people were getting involved and I wouldn't say trying to talk me into it, but almost, why are you not looking at it? So I thought, well, I better look at it. And so I spent some time, dissected it. Scheme. And on the other hand, I was like, well, I kind of want to make money, and pyramid schemes usually work until they collapse. So I sort of thought long and hard about it and thought, well, I may as well make money while I can and be part of it. So I didn't really feel too comfortable about how I got into it, and obviously started getting rewards and had a 2x multiplier, and that was working. I made a video where I admitted that, I agreed. I made a meme in support of Tbill. I quite enjoy making memes in my spare time. And it happened to win a prize, which was great. And I thank you both for your vote. But anyway, along that journey, I was like, do you know what? I'm part of their Discord, and I don't feel comfortable that a lot of questions are getting asked that are not sufficiently getting answered, or were being answered in a way that I felt sort of we're opaque with the truth. And we're trying to just err on the side of Tbill is great and G World will change your life, and DeGard's the greatest dude that's ever existed, and he's too intelligent for us mere mortals to understand. So I was a little bit put off by the way it was being moderated. And I don't have an issue with the mods. I just felt like questions weren't being impartially answered. And it was discussed at TRS. We did some research into some backgrounds, including DeGard, and found some things that we weren't too comfortable with in terms of past activities in crypto. And I'm happy to say that someone can be involved in something without sin and can be involved in something that didn't go right and do something better going forward. But still, it had that sort of uncomfortable feeling. And I couldn't shake that, well, what would I do knowing this, getting in And I thought, well, if I knew this going in, I wouldn't go in. And I thought there's a duty of care and a public good to understand, some of the concerns that are going unaddressed on Discord, and some of the history that had people have known beforehand, it would have helped them make decisions or not make decisions that they made and potentially could cost them money. So yeah, I made the decision after all of that to make a video, which I didn't want to be as controversial as it became. I don't think I was kind of bashing the project. I was sort of trying to explain it and trying to make suggestions and encourage conversation around it. And then it just became this, basically you're funding the project and what is this all about, and we now both parties must hate each other and be intermediated along the journey. And I just kind of felt it was unnecessary, and guys were trying to create straw man arguments about, well, kind of reveal the maths and models, and then the guy who even created Tbill isn't releasing maths and models as well and is saying that information is incomplete. So I'd rather walk away from it. I said my piece with it. And I know other people continue to kind of pursue the project and pursue the individuals, and I would just rather stay out of it. So let the buyer beware. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I sort of felt with the information that I gleaned and sleuthed along the journey that there was some responsibility that my ego decided that was my concern that I should make public.
Gotcha. Yeah, and when I see APRs like that and returns, it's an immediate red flag for me as well. And knowing that you can earn 8% from staking T fuel. So if the claims are being made 40, 50%, whatever it is, it's like, well, where's this coming from? And I personally didn't do the research. I saw the claims and just stayed away. I've seen things like that in the past, and it's just, you never really hear good stories about people that get involved with that kind of thing. So I wasn't sure what it was. I personally hope that there is something to this G world, that the Tbill does have a value, but at this point, it's kind of like, for me, it's a wait and see. I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, correct. And what I had said about Tbill is all I wanted to say about it. I didn't really want to get drawn into any arguments and cause people to, I don't know, panic with their investments or kind of to attack me for just providing my insight and providing a difference of opinion and being that devil's advocate. So I was a little bit frustrated with it all, but yeah, let the buyer beware. But if Tbill becomes something, and that obviously requires G World to become something, then great. And I'm disappointed that the images of G World, the kind of metaverse type images, were back from November of last year, and we haven't had any further sort of release of progression of that, or we've had de facto financial instruments being released.
Yeah, and in that light, it's similar to pineapples. Rare Robot can't catch a break with people. It's like, there's been some new pines coming out. There's been talk of the metaverse coming out. Obviously we don't get a whole lot of data dumps, but how is one being treated so much differently than the other? I don't understand. But you've also done a lot of work. I think you have a record company, is that right? Glitchloo Records?
Yeah, absolutely. On to the third studio album. Glitch has done a little bit of work and published other records for other successful artists. So Glitchloo going strong.
I know Popper had a one-hit wonder on Glitchloo Records there. I think he's out of the business these days, though.
Yeah, one and done, much like whoever sang the Friends theme tune, I guess. Happy to contribute to the musical madness of the world of Theta. And Dionne Warwick's getting involved now, and she's a pretty big name, and she's a follower, ultimately. Glitchloo started it all up with Sushi Cat and Dionne Warwick. Katy Perry's dabbling her toes, and I believe we might see a whole lot more.
We got to get some of these Glitchloo records. We got to get Sushi to sing them and record them and get them out on the jukebox. I think that'd be a hit. That
would be. I'm still curious as to who's behind the Theta jukebox, though. Methinks that might be someone a little bit more intrinsically linked to Team Theta than just, I say just, but just a Theta lover who's decided to create a platform.
So I personally haven't checked it out, the Theta Jukebox. Have you?
Yeah, I thought I'd get the first release of a single. I thought I'd pay $20 for something that I can no doubtably get on Spotify. I included it in what I pay monthly. So we're paying $20 for songs now.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of them, NFTs, just in case they
So
grow astronomically in value. But I looked at the jukebox, the platform. It links into YouTube, but obviously
okay.
it shows the DRM content of the new release, the new single, the new song. Presumably that's pretty easy for the team to build more utility to. But it's slick. It works. It worked straight after the mint. No problem at all.
Perfect. I was curious, like, because I did hear people saying, like, almost in a negative way that it links to YouTube, but I was assuming that there was the DRM technology was being used to gate that.
Yeah, so you've got the release of the single at the top of the screen once you've gone through the sort of Theta drop verification process as you would with like an NFT to join a Discord page, and then you've got some more YouTube songs from the artist, and then you've got some links to YouTube interviews with the artist, so, as well as a bit of a bio about who Dionne Warwick is, etc. So there's more information than just click on a link and here's the song playing. I felt that although it's YouTube link, it's good that they've recognized that you can't necessarily link someone to a web page just to play a song and expect them to just look at the screen and have no more interaction. So at least they're clearly showing capability straight away that you can interact with the Theta jukebox.
So what's your thoughts on when we're going to be able to get our NFTs off of Theta Drop? It's been I think it's been a few weeks now, hasn't it, URP?
Yeah, it's certainly been a few. By anyone's definition now. I think we're in the realm.
There we go.
Realm when we start changing towards being like a dozen, and maybe a baker's dozen comes after that. But
yeah,
I think we've gone from couple to few to several to almost a dozen. But I mean, it won't be the first time that an announcement has been made on an AMA that has taken longer than anticipated. So I'm not losing too much sleep about it. I certainly hear from NFT creators on Theta Drop that they're expecting this utility to be forthcoming. So I can't imagine that Theta Drop or Theta itself would decide to kind of rug their own creators. So I'm sure it's coming. It's just taking more than a few. I think well, URP is happy to put his name to it being more than a few now. We're in
Officially
overtime.
on record.
I'm going on record saying we're in overtime.
Yes, maybe double overtime. That's okay. Getting back to Pines here, what is your long-term vision here of what a investment in pineapples could be?
My long-term vision is financial freedom for all through Pines. And how do we get there? Hopefully, the Rare Robot follows through on the roadmap. I've had, through doing the PNN news channel, some interaction with James along the journey, and he's probably provided me with more information than a lot of other Pines have access to, rightly or wrongly, but tried to turn that into content. And some of the twins videos, some of the other videos that are coming out have alluded to a few things in a very cryptic way. I get James has had the last had the final edit on the scripts that have gone out there. So try to make it purposely vague, but if it's not known already, the Grove will be a metaverse. I think that's pretty clear, even if it's not announced directly.
Well, he did tweet about that just recently.
Yeah, that he was working on releasing a metaverse, right? So, but that is the Grove, and that the pineapples may or may not be the only characters in the story. They're the protagonists from the viewpoint that we've got at the moment, that he's building a lot of storytelling and a lot of lore into his vision, and that it's a vision that's been crafted for years, not just since November of 2021. He is still working on new designs, new artwork for related projects. I think that's fair to say. And I would prefer him to communicate and speak more to the crew of pineapples out there. And that probably goes without saying. I think that's a lot of people's frustration.
Yeah.
But it's been the same from day one. And leopards don't change their spots, right? I think it was unfair to just assume that from January or February or some arbitrary date that James would start communicating more to all the pineapples, whether it's via Discord or via Twitter. He seems to let the art speak for himself, and he was happily putting SPS together in the background without needing an audience, and some happy clappy NFT holders just following him around going, well done. So he was doing that without us. My assumption is, and the knowledge that I've gleaned, is that he's still working on things for the community. But at some stage, I hope that he employs someone else to the task of the sort of PR of pineapples.
Do you have a view or an expectation of the pineapple whole metaverse, the Grove, that you can share with us? Like, what you think it's going to be like? I know when Ketchenany was on, he asked us what it was like. So I'm curious your thoughts, if that's shareable.
Yeah, and these are my own thoughts. These are not coming from the Rare Robot himself, but I look at his artistic sort of flair and his own website, the work that he's done in the past, and what he has done in terms of producing work for contests, which is where you're not doing work from a sort of paid perspective. You're doing it because it's something you're passionate about and you're putting it together and have your own spin on it. And he's certainly done a lot of that around the Star Wars universe. And my expectation and my hope, without kind of inflating it to be something that it may not become, is that he's got this idea in mind of a universe, whether that's George Lucas Star Wars, whether that's Tolkien kind of, Lord of the Rings kind of, I don't know, build. I have absolutely no idea, but I hope it's something at scale. I have the feeling with a few things that James has said that it branches beyond Pines, and the future projects lined up. And as well as that, there is the ability to stake Pines, and we'll find out more about that in the future, as well as some working in gaming. So there will be some game evolved around this universe that involves Pines, that may involve other NFTs along the journey.
Cool. That makes sense. We've asked this question to a few other pineapple lovers before, and the only one to really answer the question properly was Ketchenany. So we're going to try this again. I think that you have the capability to answer this properly. If you were to buy the floor container right now and open it up and it wasn't a custom, what kind of these generative attributes available, what would you want it to look like?
Genuinely thought you were going to ask me about pizza toppings.
That's coming up.
So thinking of this question in advance, while we started recording, I may have bought a container. So I thought I'll try this out. And then you get to tell me whether these are the floor pine that I've just opened, or whether these are the URP's preferred attributes.
Oh, wow.
So
that should be easy to distinguish. Unless it's not a floor pine.
Fuck. Okay.
It was.
Here's a pine holding a grenade. What's not to like? That's when you know you've spent too much tea fuel on the floor, which is a familiar feeling. So I think that's nowhere near Magnum stats, but that's pineapple container 22 or 23 for me, I believe. No pine goose, no customs, and no rare pines, in my opinion, except for I had a blue skull with a Theta cap with the FU fingers, which NEC acquired from me at a tidy price. That was a pine I enjoyed. That was one that I opened on the larger mint at the 788 or whatever it was. Yep. But that's as good as it got for me. And further compounded by the pine that I just opened, which I'm not even going to describe the attribute. There's no point. There's not one feature that would go, maybe he would go for that in a pine, maybe.
Well, that's definitely bringing it up. So we had General on last week, and he bought a pine. He bought a pine live on recording. But
yeah, so I thought I'd one up him by getting a container.
That is a one-up for sure.
You definitely set it up for sure. So I wonder what's going to happen next.
So in about 2 minutes, one of you will check the pine rarity and see what has bestowed the community, which may or may not work its way onto the marketplace at some point. But anyway, it's part of the process. It's fun. It's therapeutic. What would I get in a pine? I would get what I always wanted and never had, which would be it would have to be a guardian.
Yeah.
I would want this. I would want my guardian to be wearing a T-Fuel shirt, the one with many a T-Fuel, not just one.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's purely because you want a lot of T-Fuel, in my opinion, in your portfolio.
Sure.
But predominantly you want one huge huge Theta blocking your vision. And you got to go black or white, and I would go the black blindfold.
Yep.
Got to do that. And I can't now take a prop because I can take a prop still. Yeah, of course I can take. I can't take a prop. I can take
an accessory. Yeah.
Which if we're playing the game of one pin accessories, then there's only one pin that it can be. And
Sure.
I've not seen a T Fuel shirt with a T Fuel pin juxtaposed to it, and that would be interesting for me. And background? I'm gonna go for, give some thought. I should have written this down. It's late, and it's 20 past 11 in my time, PM. I would go for maybe Ferro Lemon, a little bit different. Quite like the lemon, which is now on the profile picture that I've donned on Twitter.
That
nice definitely one. Pops.
Ranked 4220. 50 number 5600. Yeah, he's got the
he's got the mustache.
He's, okay. He's got a mustache.
He's got the grenade. I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah, he's got a red suit and tie. It's he's serviceable. That's definitely not what I pull.
Yeah, I mean it's not no prop flaw.
Right.
So I personally like I think the one T Fuel logo shirt. I just like that one more than the T Fuel pattern. It just seems a little crisper to me, but that's just a personal preference.
Probably because it's ironed.
It's just not as much T Fuel. So I guess, that makes sense. You got the more T Fuel. I'll take the one T Fuel.
And I'll take the zombie.
Yeah, the one T Fuel's good for 3 transactions. And Mags is still going for the zombie.
Have you got the zombie yet, Mags?
No.
We need to get a call in.
We need to
get a call in on that.
I'm trying. Nobody's biting on the offers, though. I'll tell you that. Probably because
I showed you an offer that you could have made the other day.
Yeah,
8
I don't
fuses for a zombie.
That's going to be a hard no for me. Would you agree?
I would concur. I concur.
Yeah, that's
Circle gets the square.
What else you got, Mags?
So URP. Oh. Hey, I was just trying to think back to earlier when you mentioned this Reddit origin story. Can you go into the origin of that?
Well, absolutely, Mags. I'm glad you brought it up. And I guess you can edit this to preposition the rest of the conversation that we've had. So, right. Yeah, one day I created a Reddit profile, or an account, as you would call it, and to try and research more about Theta. I was fairly limited in the information that I was able to gather on. I don't really trust people on YouTube, so I thought I'd join Reddit. So I had to create an account, and I think I've had my first Reddit birthday, or whatever they call it, maybe even 18 months ago. And it sort of spits out a generic account name when you start Reddit. So it created one called Happy Rooster Corn was the account name that was generic, and it didn't take a lot for me to change the corn to porn. That was quick. I was quick on that one. So now I had Happy Rooster Porn, and I imagined that it probably wouldn't be too happy. It would probably be some like BDSM, something maybe a little bit gritty, maybe a little bit nasty with a rooster porn. So I changed it to Unhappy Rooster Porn, and then I was done. And I imagine that this would have been a kind of just a stealth account, just lurking around on Reddit and liking a few things, commenting here and there. So I was not particular about the name. It didn't have to be anything Theta related. I wasn't even sure that I would end up being a long-term Theta investor. But anyway, started getting into the Reddit Theta community. Didn't really like most of it, but there was some useful information on there. And I had a penchant for looking into wallet addresses, jotting them down, creating Excel spreadsheets, tracing where they were all flowing from. And eventually I started doing like little, every 2 or 3 days, doing a bit of a 1-page, 500-word report on some wallet movements between addresses that look suspicious, could lead to whales, could mean bigger things, and sort of speculate about it. And so that's where URP was born. And Bapolo, who is part of TRS, is part of on Twitter as well, fairly active, was like, Unhappy Rooster Porn, you kind of got to shorten that down, go with URP. And I heeded his advice. I thought that probably made sense if I was posting more and writing more, not just to offend everybody every time they read my posts. So there's a great, iconic in my mind, nobody else's, moment where Alien Like is talking about Theta a year plus ago, probably 18 months ago, and he is reading through one of my posts as part of his YouTube video, and he reads out Unhappy Rooster Porn probably for the first time aloud and bursts out laughing and then carries on reading what I'd written. But anyway, it was through doing that process, which I found entertaining and slightly cathartic, to share my thoughts about what I was finding on the blockchain. When I got the now inevitable tap, looking back on it, from our friend T-Fuel 1000X, of joining him and T-Fuel Inferno with this sort of TRS project that they put together, which was really just I guess it's a clubhouse for people who care far too much about Theta blockchain and what it could or couldn't be, to the point where I think the TRS server it's 3 Discord servers and a public one, which is 4. And in fact, 1000X has its own read only. So there's five Discord servers, but 3 are used by TRS members kind of exclusively. And there are 500 channels per Discord. So there's probably 1,300 different pages of just things that people are throwing out there. Could have some sort of loose conjecture towards the Theta universe and may mean something, may not. Maybe about Web3, 5G, 6G technologies, centralized servers, decentralized CDM systems, and how it all ties together. And it's absolute chaos. And some of the guys in there are wonderful. And albeit overthink everything. So if you can name any blue chip, any S&P 500 component, TRS have found some sort of loose link to Theta being partnered with them. So that's equally interesting in terms of the information available as it is. Leads you down a rabbit hole of thinking that Theta will be at $1,000 by Christmas. But they're a good group of guys that get together most Friday evenings and drink too much and chat Theta.
So the big takeaway from this is unhappy rooster porn.
Yeah, that's what URP stands for. Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
that explains your PFP picture.
Oh,
I was always
yeah,
wondering
yeah.
why you were a rooster.
Correct. Yeah. That's where it comes. I think if you click on my name, it will say, "Oh no, I deleted that," because the more people who've got to know me through social media and Discord now would be very confused by what unhappy rooster porn meant. But when I first joined, it was a way of me linking to the Reddit people that it's the same person, of which Sushi Cat was one of the peeps.
Yep. We were just actually talking, I think it was last week. I just started my own Elite Edge node recently. I was curious, why do you think that I know that the rewards now are a lot more than they used to be. There's more jobs. Like I have a consistent amount of jobs that is coming through. But it just seems to me if we want this thing to be more decentralized, then it should be, we should be getting greater rewards for running the technology. Do you think that there's a reason why the rewards are so low?
Yeah, it's a great point, and it's something that the community has talked about for years, that a lot of people were running laptops of varying specs or high-end gaming devices, even building computers to run Elite Edge nodes and getting very little back from it. Obviously, with the Elite Edge node, if you're staking to it, you get the staking rewards, but
sure,
you could just as easily use Gpool or
right.
Theta board and
exactly
all these great providers of outsourced staking. But the actual Edge node itself isn't doing much apart from appearing on a stat on Theta's website. And that was frustrating a lot of people when you're accumulating fractions of a T-fuel a day, myself included. Like, why am I running this thing 24/7 for probably getting on a year now? I've had an Elite Edge node on the go, and until more recently, not getting paid a lot for it. So hell of a frustrating. Why can't they just turn some rewards from staking into Elite or into Edge node kind of payments? But I think then the crux lies in what is the distinction between a reward for staking, for kind of locking up tokens in the ecosystem, and what's for video encoding and sharing, etc., which is the kind of core thesis and principle of the Theta network. And I don't think they've wanted to muddy the waters between the economics that they've built for staking rewards with what the principal use case is. It's just we haven't seen enough use case yet. And whether that's because things have been delayed or whether it's just naturally taking a longer time than anticipated, I believe that the model that they've built and had a lot of smart minds as well as venture capital, private equity guys look at as part of their investment has been that by such a point in time, which is undetermined to ourselves, there'll be more use case on the network, and therefore the encoding jobs and the caching will be and machine learning kind of rewards will be higher than what your staking rewards will be, proportionate to your investment in technology. I.e., if you have $1 million worth of staking rewards, your computer, and your running costs are not going to be $1 million or even smallish sort of fractions of that. So sort of looking at kind of how those two intertwine together. So
Gotcha.
I think the short answer is they haven't wanted to muddy what they've built in terms of a reward system for locking up and staking with what is a use case, technology-driven, process-driven system of edge nodes.
So this kind of goes back to the T-fuel being deflationary. So in order for T-fuel to be deflationary, then the payouts on the edge nodes would then increase because there'd be a lot more activity.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, unless Max has anything else, I just have one more just real burning question here. Do you put pineapple on your pizza?
No, of course not. Not a maniac. No, it's obviously a divisive question. Am I completely against? Is it abhorrent that people put pineapple on pizza? I'm going to say no, but on my hierarchy, on URP's hierarchy of pizza preference, it's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my go-to pizza here in South Africa, because they love their avocado, it's got to be, you got to bacon, feta, and avocado. That seems to be the go-to for consistency for me here.
See, now that sounds a lot better to me than bacon and pineapple, although it still wouldn't be at the top of my list. But yeah, and for the record, like if Magnum wants to go get a pineapple and cut it up and put it on his pizza and eat it, he's more than welcome to. It's not, if pineapple pizza is the only option, then, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think as long as the community are aware that the sheriff has not put a total ban on pineapple on pizza.
No, there's not a total ban. There's a total ban on my pizza having pineapple on it, except for that one guy, Nico Bizzarro, I believe it was, posted a picture of a pizza and it had like 3 or 4 little tiny pieces of pineapple on it, along with some delicious looking pepperoni, some seasoning, and it looked delicious, but there was only about 5 of those little chunks of pineapple. I was willing to try that one, but I would like to try it side by side with the same pizza that did not have the pineapple on it. When I talk, like, I've seen pineapple pizza where it's like there's like a whole pineapple on the pizza, and it's just, I don't care what else you're putting on it. Like that's a hard no for me.
Sliced or whole?
Yes. Yeah, skin and all, No, all sliced up. Yeah, just covered.
Yeah, that's what created the Altered Pines, was the whole pineapple on a pizza. Before we go, I need to issue apologies.
Oh, shoot.
Great idea.
Yeah. I need to clear my conscience. And Mags, I don't think I owe you anything, but I'm sorry if I do. Papa, yourself, and I'm sure the Simple Pine and T-Fuel Inferno NFT purveyor might be listening at some point. And you guys, I don't know, and of course Mr. Ivory Jones himself, but I might have had 60 Symbies at one point and now have 4. And I had a metal print at auction and now have 0 metal prints. It kind of hurts. And the 3 of you kind of told me to hang in strong and this was going to be a great project. I couldn't work it out. I'm not a gamer. I see value in it. I don't see a huge amount of value in 400 of the same NFT. It aesthetically looks exactly the same, selling it to gamers, but I'm kind of becoming a latent believer, and it's probably a bit overpriced to get in. And Ivory's been part of TRS for a long time as well, and I had some great conversations with him. Jumped in to get the metal print, and then realized that these metal prints have to be shipped around the world and get to South Africa, which is kind of like the murder capital of the world, and pay import duties. And there was talk about getting the metal print would enable more physical drops rather than NFT drops. And that's how I read it at the time.
Yeah.
Like, geez, I don't want to be having items go missing and paying 20% custom import fees every time I get something. And so, yeah, I sold it on the cheap and lived to regret it.
Well, I mean, I feel like we should apologize to you for that. That's a tough story. But Simple Pine feels your pain too. He actually did it twice. So,
yeah.
So
he is. I mean, yeah. There's a reason he's called Simple Pine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I gotta throw a thank you out there to Simple Pine because the story goes like he's the only reason I got mine at auction. So yeah, that's metal prints.
Simple
you know,
Pine is
Mm.
Simple Pine's a good guy. He's
Yeah.
well worth listening to.
Well, we definitely like to get him on here sometime as well. We got some similar time zone issues with him, but we'll have to make it work.
Good. And yeah, shout out to all the pines holding strong, and not to the ones that sold and went wrong.
Yeah, and to all those out there bashing right now, looking forward to a little "I told you so" at some point. Not that I'm a big "I told you so" guy, but I got a few saved up in the queue.
And that's from the three of us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I will speak for the three of us on that. And, Mags always speaks for me unless he's bashing me. All right, man. Well, URP, definitely not ERP. We appreciate your time and coming on and being a part of this madness with us and really taking Pine Madness. I feel like if it wasn't for you, Pine Madness would not have been what it was. So we certainly
100%.
appreciate your efforts there, and it's obviously carried over even further. I know, my first interaction with you was dating back to Operation Pine, where I got a little taste of it, but we were on the same team there, so that was, the memories of that are much nicer. Although you did come Team Popper at the end, which I should apologize to you for that because you ended up losing to some scrub because you associated with me. But what are you going to do?
The glitch-loo switcheroo was just really to keep things interesting because Team Magnet had just ran away with everything. And then I went through, painstakingly went through old tweets to try and see how I could create some sort of conjecture to link it to, we were always planning this along the way, but in reality, we made it up like 30 seconds before it started.
Yeah, but you did such a good job with that you had Simple Pine believing that it was all in the works from the beginning. It was very well done.
Yeah, the URP Usual Suspects ending. It was cool. I enjoyed it. The Operation Pine I almost forgot about, but shout out to Sheriff and General Dole going along with some of the ideas that I think myself, I almost forget who. Alf was certainly heavily involved with meme making for a long time on that. But
Theta Zilla Club, Theta Meme Team.
I put that that letter to General Dole together, which I just thought was just funny. And he photographed that on his desk at work, and that's where it started. And I hope everyone has enjoyed the crazy entertainment of people who should do more productive things with their time, but create entertainment and value for everyone. Thanks, guys, for doing the Pinecast to humor. I think I'm hearing sort of 20 to 30 people now listening.
So we're
definitely going up.
We've tripled.
That's news to us.
You've tripled at best, right? 20 to 30 people, so possibly doubled.
More than a few.
We would start at more than a few more. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I know it's getting late over there. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing what your brain comes up with next.
Nice one, guys. Always a pleasure. And thanks so much for having me on. And good night from me, and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you.
You too. Good night. You have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a treat at feedthecat.theta. Pops and Mags is a scumbag hat production in association with Kyle's Hot Tub.